So dear students, today I am going to explain Newton's laws of motion. But before starting Newton's laws of motion, I am telling you about inertia, because Newton's first law of motion is also known as law of inertia. So to start with, first of all, let me explain what is inertia. In fact, inertia is the inherent property of a body by virtue of which it opposes any change in its state. It is inherent property of a body due to which a body remains either in the state of rest or it will continue in uniform motion unless an external force is applied on it. Further, inertia is categorized into three categories: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. So simply here I want to explain you that inertia is the inability of a body to change its state itself. If you have to change its state, you have to apply force. So now let us move towards Newton's first law of motion, and in his first law he says that a body continues to be in the state of rest or of uniform motion unless an external force acts on it, which resembles with law of inertia or inertia, the definition of inertia. But what is important in this definition is that sometimes when we discuss this definition, but we say that a body continues to be in the state of rest or of motion, but it is not motion, it is uniform motion. If you will not use this word uniform, your definition is wrong. Now, after Newton's law of motion, first law of motion, I will move to third law, then I will explain Newton's second law of motion. In Newton's third law of motion, Newton says that to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. I mean to say, if you will apply force on a particular object, then that particular object also apply force on you. Both the forces will equal, but the direction is opposite. If you will apply force on wall, then wall will also apply force on you. So these two forces, I have applied that force is called action, and the force applied by the wall on myself or yourself, that is reaction. So these action and reaction, they must be equal. This is Newton's statement for third law of motion. In Newton's second law of motion, he says, in simple language I can say that it depends upon external force, that how much distance a body covers or how much velocity is changed. In scientific language I can say rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to external force applied on it. But you must clear in your mind this particular thing, that here the force must be unbalanced force. In Newton's second law of motion, we have discussed about a force, but that force must be unbalanced force. In mathematical form, sometimes examiner may ask you in the examination that write mathematical expression for Newton's second law of motion. So here I am going to explain that D stands for change. So change in momentum with change in time, or I can say rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to force applied. When sign of proportionality is removed, constant of proportionality K is used. In SI system, its value is calculated to be 1. So K is 1, so F is equal to dP by dt. What is P here? It is linear momentum. And what is the definition of linear momentum? It is the product of mass and velocity. So in place of P, I have used mass into velocity. Now F is equal to change with time for mass and velocity. But as we know, mass is constant. It does not change with the time. So it must be taken outside from change. So M is taken outside, but you will remain with d by dt of v, and change in velocity with time. This is by definition acceleration. So F is equal to m, mass, into acceleration. This is mathematical form of Newton's second law of motion. Now you can explain that if mass is constant, let us remove this constant, you will use proportionality sign. So force is directly proportional to acceleration. You will apply large force, large acceleration is produced, but if you will apply small force, then small acceleration is produced in the body. After that, let us move towards the units of force. So here we will discuss two types of units. One is gravitational units of force and second is absolute units of force. Gravitational units of force in SI system is kilogram force or kilogram weight. Remember, in SI system, gravitational units of force is either kilogram force or kilogram weight. You can use either one term, either kilogram force or kilogram weight. Now let us define 1 kilogram force or 1 kilogram weight. So as per Newton's second law of motion, force is mass into acceleration. I have called gravitational units of force is kilogram force or kilogram weight. Mass is taken to be 1 kilogram and acceleration must be taken as 9.8 meter per second square. Now let us make the definition. Force is said to be 1 kilogram force or 1 kilogram weight if it produces an acceleration of 9.8 meter per second square in that body whose mass is 1 kilogram. If an acceleration of 9.8 meter per second square is produced in a body of mass 1 kilogram, then force applied is considered to be 1 kilogram force or 1 kilogram weight. In CGS system, units of force, or I can say gravitational units of force, is gram force or gram weight. Again, for force it is 1 gram force, for mass it is 1 gram, and so far as weight is concerned, for acceleration you can use 980 centimeter per second square in CGS system. So force is said to be 1 gram force if it produces an acceleration of 980 centimeter per second square in a body of mass 1 gram. Now let us move towards absolute units of force. In SI system, Newton is the absolute units of force. So to define 1 Newton, F is equal to ma. Force is 1 Newton, mass is 1 kilogram, and acceleration in absolute unit is taken to be 1 meter per second square. So now define force is said to be 1 Newton if it produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square in a body of mass 1 kilogram. But in CGS system, absolute units of force is dyne. Now F is equal to ma. Force is 1 dyne, mass is 1 gram, and acceleration is 1 centimeter per second square. So force is said to be 1 dyne if it produces an acceleration of 1 centimeter per second square in a body of mass 1 gram. Sometimes you may be asked, what is the relation between Newton and dyne? Then I will start that F is equal to m into A. Force is 1 Newton, mass is 1 kilogram, acceleration is 1 meter per second square. See here. Now I will remain with 1 Newton. In CGS system, 1 kilogram is equal to 1000 gram, 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter per second square. So 1 Newton is 3 and 2, 5, 10 to the power 5 gram centimeter per second square. So 1 Newton gram centimeter per second square, it is dyne. So 1 Newton is 10 to the power 5 dyne. So these are the absolute as well as gravitational units of force. Thank you very much.